Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Louis Pasteur, the world-famous scientist, once said, "A little science distances you from God, but a lot of science brings you nearer to him." It's an incredible statement. Often many people have a little science and they use it to show God that they know better than he does. It reminds me of the story of the man who told God that he didn't need him anymore because he discovered how to make a human being from dust himself. And God responded by saying, "Show me." And the man bent down to pick up a bit of dust, but God immediately said, "Stop, use your own dust." And in today's first reading, we hear of God creating a covenant with us, that he would never flood the earth again. And he gave the beautiful symbol of the rainbow as evidence of this covenant. And the rainbow then is like the signature of God on a contract. God signs his covenant with us in colour in the sky, and it becomes visible when light from the sun enters a droplet of water and the rainbow is magnified across the sky. It's the most wonderful and beautiful signature in human history. And when we witness a rainbow appearing in the sky, we could almost say that we can see the hand of God signing his covenant. And it's truly magnificent to have such a visible sign from God. And unfortunately, it's like so many of the gifts we have been given, we can lose our appreciation for them in our own lifetime and also through the generations. We can take them for granted, and maybe there comes a time when we don't even notice them. How often does the beauty of a rainbow in the sky stop you? How many of us have told others the story of this visible sign from God, that this is God's signature? Or perhaps we no longer believe it. Perhaps because we know how it happens, that we can explain a rainbow, evidence of a little bit of science, we lose the impact it should have on us. It's interesting that folklore has been created around the rainbow, highlighting the pot of gold at its end. We know that it's not physically possible to reach the end of the rainbow. And again, we're probably too intelligent to try to get there. That's just for children chasing rainbows. However, maybe the gold at the end of the rainbow is not as fairy tale as it sounds. And maybe God reveals this to some people. You see, there is gold at the end of the rainbow on both ends. There's the gold of heaven that directs the light to the droplet of water, creating the colour. And this is the hand of God. And then there is the earth at the other end, the beautiful planet that we have been given, that has been entrusted to us in our time. And Jesus tells us in the gospel, this is our time. And it is a gift. The planet is a gift richer than any quantifiable materials or metals. It is a gift more precious than gold itself. And during weekday masses, we have listened to the book of Genesis over the last few weeks, and we have listened to the story of creation. And when you reflect on the beauty of creation, as you can see outside today, Our only response should always be full of wonder and awe, full of humility that God would entrust us with such beauty. Every morning, every day, we should be standing like we do when we arrive in a new, beautiful place, looking around in amazement at the beauty that we see. The beauty of earth should be evidence in itself of the beauty and the splendor of God. And when we become aware that all of this is God's making a gift from God to us, we can realize then the true responsibility that we have been given. We are responsible for the care of creation in every way in our day, and it's something we should reflect on in Lent. Because you see, that's why we should never ever throw litter. That's why we should always recycle. That's why we should never waste food. That's why we should never exploit the planet for our own selfish needs or desires. As Pope Francis says, you have cast out the wonder of creation, man and woman, and you have put money in its place. This is a basic terrorism against all humanity. Think about it. And the Pope goes on to say, let us be protectors of creation, protectors of God's plan inscribed in nature, protectors of one another and of the environment. Perhaps this week we could even just look closely at the magnificence and beauty of the bloom of one new daffodil. If we can free ourselves from the place of taking everything for granted, of not being impressed with anything because we know the science behind it, if we can look beyond this, it is actually possible to see the true scientist. It's possible to see God. And perhaps if we recognize God in creation, we will understand Jesus' message in today's gospel. The kingdom of heaven is close at hand. So let our prayer this week be, Lord, help me to never take you and the gifts you have given me for granted. I am yours. Do with me what you will.